Hello everybody, welcome to marketing analytics class. We are in week 8 session 5 and in this particular session we will discuss about how to do a market basket analysis in a hands on way. So, if you go to the files section of week 8, you will find a file called marketbasketanalysis.r and you will find also a grocery stores data. So, if I just open this data, each of these particular rows is a transaction. So, if I just so you see that like whole milk, butter, yogurt, rice and abrasive cleaner has been bought together, and let us say pip fruit, yogurt, cream cheese and meat spreads have been bought together. So, this is a publicly available data, we have taken it and then we will be using that using market basket analysis. So, for that there are two libraries, one is ADool and one is datasets that I will use. So, if I do not have, as usual I have to install them. So, ADools stands for association rules. So, I will install them and then I will also install the datasets library which will be used. So, ADools has been installed, easy, and datasets library. Okay, so data sets is not there, I think right now for the new one data sets is not there. So, let us see whether we can do it without that. So, ADools library I am calling, datasets library might already be installed here, it is there in your base package. Okay. So, ADool has been installed. Now, the data is data groceries, it is a inbuilt data. So, the same one that I have written here, I have that is inbuilt and it is written here, all the data classes and etcetera. So, I have used that. Now, I will find out the first thing is to find out the one items, which items are more prominent. So, item frequency plot is something that I am creating with top 20. So, these are my top 20 products. You can see that whole milk is the most common product, then other vegetables, then comes rolls and buns, then comes soda, yogurt, bottled water and etcetera. So, I think I have around 10,000 observations and out of them 2,500 cases whole milk is occurring and the other ones is occurring like that. So, that is something which is important to understand. Just 1 minute, let me check how many rows I have. Yeah, around 10,000 is there. So, now there are three definitions: support and confidence we have already known. What is support? Support is basically the fraction of which our item set occurs. Means if I say that item A and B, given that if I ask you that what is the probability, what is the case that A and B occurs, C will also occur. So, if you buy A and B, C will also occur. So, support is basically probability of A comma B and confidence is basically probability of C given A comma B. So, that is basic thing. So, out of this case, how many the fraction of which our item set occurs in our data set, that is support. Confidence is probability that a rule is correct, probability that this rule is correct. This rule correct means probability of this thing. So, that is called your confidence. And lift, the ratio by which the confidence of a rule exceeds the expected confidence. So, what is the lift is basically, in other words, probability of C given A comma B by probability of C. So, that is lift. So, this is something, these three things is important for marketing. The higher the lift, the better is your rule, the more stronger, more applicable, more actionable is your rule. Because if a rule is increasing the chances of being bought very high, then you might want to focus on that rule rather than some other rules. So, rules in the previous presentation I have told that will be analyzed based on. So, rules has to have a minimum support. Higher confidence means rule will be accurate and lift high means rule will be useful, simple form. So, it has to be supportive, that means the rule is not a blip, not a statistical error, that there has enough support for the rule. You have to have confidence on the rule and the rule has to be useful. So, that is the three things based on which we judge which rule we will act on, which rule we will discard. So, these are the three things. So, rules, to find out the rules we use the a priori algorithm with the groceries data set. So, the syntax is a priori within bracket data, and then what is the parameter? I am saying that support cutoff has to be 0.001. That means 0.1% times it has to occur. As I told that is also very rare, and the confidence has to be 0.8 at least. So, at least 80% times it has to be correct. Now, if I just run this, so there are lots of rules that has been created, and if I just want to see summary of those rules, so let us say inspect the first 5 rules. These are the first 5 rules that has been created. Now, these 5 rules are not based on anything, they are randomly created. Like the first rule says, in the left hand side we have got liquor, and then we have got liquor and red plus wine, and the right hand side we have bottled water, bottled beer. That means, given that liquor and wine occurs, what is the probability that the bottled beer will also occur? So, corresponding support is 0.0019. That means, 0.19% cases the left hand side occurs, which is small. But when the left hand side occurs, right hand side occurs with 90% probability, 0.9 is my confidence, and the lift is also very high, 11.2. So, otherwise it will not occur, but the moment the left hand side occurs, bottled beer anyway people not buy, but if left hand side occurs, then the probability of buying is 11.2 times normally buying. So, that is a huge lift. Similarly, card and cereals, this has a support which is low, but when that occurs, purchasing of whole milk is very high, confidence is 0.9 and so on. But the lift is only 3.6. Why lift and 6? Because anyway people buy whole milk. I have shown you 2500 times out of around 10,000 times. That means 40% times people anyway buy whole milk, almost 40% times. So, given that this occurs, the percentage is 0.91, that is not very high. The lift is 3.6. That means, actually normally people buy whole milk, 0.91 divided by 3.6, this is the natural probability of buying a whole milk. Similarly, 0.81 divided by 3.2, it is also will come 0.25. So, that is the natural probability of buying whole milk. So, 25% times people anyway buy whole milk. So, that is why the lift is not so high. Now, what will I do? I will find out the summary of these rules. So, the average support is 0.00125. The maximum support is 0.003 and the minimum is 0.001, that because that is for the cutoff that we have taken. But confidence is 0.8 to 1, the average confidence is 0.87, lift is 0.31 to 11.2, which is good, and so is the rule. So, we get some basic rules. The rules are distributed based on the sizes also. So, 3 size, left hand side and right hand side together, 3 items rule, there are 29 such rules, 4 item rules, there are 2 to 9 such rules, 5 items 140 and 6 items 12. So, that is the distribution that has been given. There are total 410 rules based on the cutoff that we have created. Now, which rules are the most likely? That means, most likely means most accurate. So, I will this thing I will sort them based on confidence. So, rules is I sort the rules by confidence in a decreasing order. So, if I now just plot them, these are the rules which are confidence is 1, they are most. So, whenever people buy this, they always buy whole milk. So, that is thing, but you see their count is very small first of all, and their support is also very small. Now, I can also see that which of these guys have a maximum length of 3. That means, there are lots of combinations has to happen, then only this happens. For example, this one, you see that root vegetables, whipped sour cream, flour happens, then whole milk happens. This is rule number 4, it has 4 items, which is big. Or let us say this one, butter, soft cheese, domestic eggs, 3 items happening in the left hand side, then only 1 item happening in the right hand side. That is also very big rule. So, if I just want to limit my size of the rule, I can do max length is equal to 3. Max length is equal to 3 means then maximum length both side included, right hand side and left hand side, the length of the rules will be 3 items at max. So, now if I do that and then I sort it by confidence, what will I look like? So, I have created them and now if I just inspect them, see the maximum items are 3 in all the cases, not more than that. Again the confidence is very high, but the support is small. So, this kind of this and that you can do, this kind of changes, this kind of playing you can do. I will do 2 more playing and then I will close. For example, I can also say that given this particular item is in the left hand side, what is the chances, or given whole king in the right hand side, what are the rules. So, that I can say. For example, here what I am writing, I am putting up appearance is equal to least, left hand side is default and right hand side has to have whole milk. So, the moment I am saying right hand side has to have whole milk and then I am expecting. So, then I am saying that right hand side has to, it is must that it will have whole milk and corresponding then I am sorting it based on confidence and that values I am getting. Similarly, I can say left hand side also must have whole milk. So, that will create this kind of rules. For left hand side must have whole milk, there is no other choice. And you say I have written min length is equal to 2, min length is equal to 2 means the minimum length of this particular thing has to be 2. So, minimum length is always 2, there will be rules which are more than 2. If I do max length is equal to 2, then there will be absolutely one item in the left hand side, one item has in the right hand side. So, that is how you create lots of rules. You can sort by confidence, you can also sort by lift, you can sort by support, or you can create a combination of lift and support. And so, because the rules are all stored here. So, if you want to find out that okay, for support I will give x percentage weightage, confidence I will give y percentage weightage, you can do multiple combinations to find out which rules are actionable and based on that you can take a call. So, here we are just creating the rules, playing with the rules left hand side, right hand side, I am sticking up and doing something, but later the marketing decision is what will I do with these rules. For example, what will I do if I know that rice and sugar along with that whole milk is also being sold, or if you remember the initial rules that we have created in the very first one, just 1 minute. Yeah, so now if I just inspect the rules, the very first one, yeah, so this is also 3.9, not this one, sorry. So, very first one was this. So, if I just check, so what will I do with this? If I know that the lift is very high, confidence is very high, support is not bad, what will I do with this rule? Liquor and wine, red wine, and along with that bottled beer is also being sold, then I have to put them together, or I have to create a bundle, or I can put them into different ends so that people can purchase. So, these kind of decisions you have to take as a marketing manager. This part is only a data science to create hypothesis. That hypothesis can be tested, can be used once it is tested true to create marketing insights. So, that is what all about market basket analysis. Analysis why it is very easy, its understanding is very easy and you have to use that in a marketing context. So, that is all for week 8. We will meet you in week 9 and we will discuss about further aspects of brand choices and later text mining. Thank you for being with me and I will see you in the next video.